Okay, so it would appear that we were both very wrong about Zootopia, too. This thing is
Yeah.
insane. It's literally insane. Okay, 15 days. It's been out in theaters for 15 days. And Disney's gone back to a full theatrical window. They're 60 to 90 on all their stuff. It's made $972 million in
Oh my God.
15 freaking days. What did you call before this came out? What did you think?
I think, if I recall correctly, I think I said 1.1 billion, but I'm not entirely sure.
I think this is going to blow well past 1.1 billion.
Oh
yeah. For reference on that too, it is now the number 2 box office gross of the year, only behind Lilo and Stitch, also Disney, right? And it's gonna blow past Lilo and Stitch, no problem, right? I think Avatar: Fire and Ash is gonna beat it. I do. In that I think Avatar: Fire and Ash will do anywhere between 1.7 and 2.3 billion. But, yeah, this is insane. It's 15 days. Do we think it can hit 1.5?
You know, I'm thinking it could. Yeah, we're going into like the holiday season. It's a kids movie.
Kids are out of school. People go see movies. Yeah. I mean, 15 days. And it's, by the way, that puts it in the top 10 of fastest to hit $1 billion. Top 10 of all time. All time, any movie ever released, it is now in the top 10 of fastest to hit $1 billion at the box office. That is freaking insane. I haven't had a chance to see it yet. Have you seen it yet?
I have not. I have not seen it.
My kid, normally I would go see this with my daughter, but she doesn't seem to be that interested in these kind of movies right now. You know, we got our tickets for Stranger Things, and she wants to go see the new FNAF movie, which apparently is getting terrible reviews. And I think I know why.
What movie is this?
The Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah,
I think I know why it's getting such bad reviews. I have a strong, I'm fairly certain I'm right theory about this. And it comes down to, on the first movie, they made Scott Cawthon, who's the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's the game, they gave him 2 other screenwriters to work with to write the screenplay. He is the sole credited screenwriter on this movie, and he needed to take the help. And I don't think that's a knock on Scott Cawthon. Do you?
No. I mean, look at how many people are on Star Wars movies, right?
Yeah. I mean, come on. And hell, even George Lucas, I mean, let's face it, George didn't write the best Star Wars movie that was ever made. He didn't write it. Okay? Everybody still agrees that Empire is the best Star Wars movie ever made. He didn't write Empire. He didn't write the damn book or damn movie, right? He wrote all the prequels, and we remember how everybody felt about those.
Yep, those are the best ones. My favorite character is Jar Jar.
Yes, Darth Jar Jar.
Darth Jar Jar, yeah.
Darth Jar Jar is your favorite character, and you will love Darth Jar Jar. Okay. Well, with that, should we just jump into it? I think we can just roll. I don't think we need a longer cold open today. So, with that being said, coming to you live from our weird home studios, it is the Error Code Show for December 11th. Your place for news, pop culture, politics, gaming, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. If you want to support the show, if you are watching us on Twitch and you have Amazon Prime, you can use your One Prime sub to subscribe to us and give us Amazon some money. If you're watching us on YouTube, we love you. We've gotten a bunch more subscribers. We comment, like, subscribe, and share those videos to our YouTube channel so we can defeat the algorithm gods. We're on our way to 5,000 subs. That's our next big goal, is 5,000. So thank you to everybody who supported us. Also, you will start to notice when we put this into our Discord, we are also doing occasionally YouTube exclusive content. We released one this last weekend when some news about Warner Brothers broke, right? And it happened after the show had aired. So we're doing YouTube. So check the YouTube channel for YouTube exclusive content that's not part of the regular live stream. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook at The Error Code Show. Again, thank you to everybody who's been supporting the show and watches every week. We really love you guys. So it is wonderful to see everybody back again. With that, let's jump into our first topic. And speaking of the Warner Brothers deal that we did our YouTube exclusive video on, it looks like the plot has thickened. Paramount and Netflix have been battling to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery. Netflix had reached an agreement. Everybody announced it. Everybody's happy. And then David Ellison and Paramount go, actually, we're going to do a hostile takeover bid, right? So first off, let's talk about what a hostile takeover bid means. And what that means is that Paramount presents their thing to the shareholders and convince the shareholders independently, who have to vote on whatever bid Warner Brothers ultimately accepts, right? It's the shareholders who make the decision. He's trying to convince them, hey, we're actually like, we're the ones that you want to go with. We promise, don't do the Netflix deal. And so this is how they do it. And then what they're also trying to do at the same time is acquire 50% plus one share so they can vote in a new board that will approve the Paramount deal. Now, it's risky. They can work, but it's risky. Now, one of the reasons their original bid wasn't taken, and here's what's interesting, right? And this is where they get into the weird accounting of this. And I want to know what you think about this, Jay. So one of the reasons that Warner Brothers said that Netflix's bid was better, right, was they said Netflix is bidding this much money, but they don't want CNN. We're still going to do our spinoff thing, all the Discovery, CNN, all that stuff goes away. It's without CNN. And Warner Brothers valued the TV properties that they were going to spin off at $3 a share, right? Just for the TV properties. That's CNN, Discovery, HGTV, Food Network, all that stuff that they own. Netflix, in their original bid, the one that Warner Brothers rejected, because while it was technically more money, they wanted CNN, right? Paramount wanted CNN as part of the deal, and they only valued the TV networks at $1 a share, right? So that's why it got a little wonky there. It's a little wonky. And so that's what Warner Brothers was saying. You know, Vodafone grabbed Medicine, InBev took over Anheuser-Busch. You know, there's a lot of these in the past, but, and then furthermore, there's a lot of stuff going on with who's paying for Warner Brothers stuff. His dad, David Ellison's father, the owner of Oracle, he's kicking in $40 billion. Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, is also kicking in, I think, $1 or $2 billion, right? The sovereign funds from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and one other are also kicking in a few billion for non-voting stock. What's your overall feeling on this as we're watching this hostile takeover bid go? What's your feeling on it?
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, it might seem shady, or it might seem like, I don't know, scummy, but like, that is just business. I think it's gonna go through, because like, at the end of the day, like,
Do you think Paramount's gonna get it?
I think Paramount's gonna get it, because when you start dangling money in front of shareholders, because a lot of times shareholders, like, they're not all of them are like in it for the culture or whatever. They're not nerds or anything like that. Like, they are in there to make money on their investment. So if you dangle cold hard cash in front of them, they're probably going to take it. So yeah.
I'm hoping, because again, their argument is, look, Paramount's valuing the TV networks at $1 a share. We're valuing them at $3. That's a significant change. especially with who Ellison's got in bed with him, Jared Kushner, the sovereign wealth funds, all these guys. I really don't want Paramount. And here's the thing, again, we talked about this in another video, kind of the weird stuff that Paramount was doing with CBS News where he installed Bari Weiss as the editor-in-chief. We've gone over this a couple of times. I'm genuinely afraid of giving David Ellison more control over more media. Now, the counter argument to that is he hasn't taken The Daily Show off the air. Right? David Ellison owns The Daily Show. Right? And by the way, John made a dig at Paramount the other day. Right? They own Comedy Central. Right? He could have The Daily Show removed. Right? I think that we can get it. That actually might be a good idea for a separate topic. But I don't want him having CNN and CBS News. That bugs me. You know, Netflix isn't taking control of the oldest cable news network. You know, yeah, it's getting interesting. It's getting really interesting.
Yeah. And again, like if you look at the stock for Warner Brothers, right? Like, all stocks go up and down. Yeah. But if you bought in at when Warner Brothers was doing really, really well as like a major, like if you become a major shareholder at that point, and then at the beginning of the year, like it was really slumping, you're probably ready to get out. You're like, I want out of this investment. Again, unless you, I don't know, you're in it for control of the company or you really like Warner Brothers or something. I don't really know, but I do, and I don't like it, but I do feel like Paramount is going to get the bid. Or not the bid, but they're going to get the hostile takeover.
Yeah. Somebody's saying, when Netflix killed Blockbuster, I couldn't have seen this coming. The funny thing is Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy Netflix. That's one of those classic like business stuff stories, and it's true. Blockbuster was given the opportunity to buy Netflix. Netflix was like, yeah, buy us. Let's merge. Let's go. And Blockbuster declined. Blockbuster was like, nah, we're fine. We don't need this Netflix thing.
I mean,
I miss Blockbuster.
Yeah. I remember like the beginning of Netflix. It was just like back when they were like you got it delivered to your door.
Disc only.
It did seem really like you have to wait.
Get your queue.
You have a queue. It's not available versus like just going into a store and just picking up the movie that you want. Like most people don't want to wait a week or more to see the movie. So I could totally see where like Blockbuster was like, no, this company is going to fail. It's stupid. But yeah.
Here's what I will say also in Netflix's defense, because obviously everybody was very concerned about Netflix killing theatrical, doing all this stuff. Ted Sarandos this week, since all this has been happening, the CEO of Netflix, has come out, and I'm going to paraphrase what Ted Sarandos is saying. He's basically saying, guys, we don't want to kill the theatrical thing. We want Warner Brothers to just keep Warner Brothersing. They're going to keep doing the theatrical. We don't know how to do theatrical releases. That's why we bought Warner Brothers. And if our idea was to kill theaters, we could buy every major theater chain in America for $7 billion and just destroy them. Right? We're spending $82 billion on Warner Brothers. We are not buying Warner Brothers for $82 billion to rip it to pieces. That doesn't make any sense to us. We're buying it because we need their expertise, right? We need what they've done theatrically this year. Unless we forget, they had 7 movies in a row open to more than $40 million their opening weekend, which has never been accomplished in the history of Hollywood, right? They're buying the talent machine over at Warner Brothers. They're buying DeLuca and Abdi, who run Warner Brothers Pictures, who I would have to say have shown that this year especially, they know what the fuck they're doing, right? They're buying James Gunn, right? Who, thus far, his shepherding of the DC properties and DC studios has been good, right? We're going to talk about Supergirl later. Again, so Sarandos is saying all the right things. No, guys, don't worry. Netflix is not buying this to rip it to shreds and subsume HBO. No, we want HBO because it's premier television to continue doing HBO. But we want the option to be able to go, and now, we can move those to Netflix after they're done on HBO. We want the properties. We want Harry Potter. We want these things, and we don't want to stop it. We want them to just keep going. Right? Which I can understand. Like, if Sarandos is telling the truth, I like it. And again, it seems better than the Paramount deal to me. Like, first off, do you buy what Sarandos is saying? Like, hey, look, we're not spending $82 billion on this to screw it up. That's not what we're doing. This is a lot of money. So do you believe what he's selling?
100%. Yeah. Because like, it's what I would do. Like even if you're against movie theaters, you can still appreciate the value it adds, like the money it brings in. So like, it adds to the Netflix portfolio if you just like let Warner Brothers do its thing, but then also like get the talent, like you said, from Warner Brothers to help you with your sometimes very shaky Netflix movies. But then also you can get that talent to help you get these movies in the theater if you want to. And I say that even though they're against the theater whole side of things, because I think they're feeling the sting and the burn from K-pop Demon Hunters not being eligible for some of the awards because it was not released in theaters
the right way.
First.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a win. Like, it makes sense. You're not going to buy Warner Brothers and then just kill the movie industry altogether. Like, you're going to buy it to expand what you're doing.
Yeah. Because he could buy AMC for $1.5 billion. If you wanted to buy AMC, the largest theater chain, and just destroy it, it would only cost Netflix about $1.5 billion. That'd be it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, AMC is weirdly undervalued. I'm tempted to buy a bunch of AMC stock. They're weirdly undervalued, in my opinion. It's so.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm not entirely sure because I would need to read up on it. I just hit like finals for the past 2 weeks, but I did see a news story about them wanting to issue more shares, which would dilute the like what they currently have, which would be alarming to like buy stock right now. So,
yeah.
But then also, I was kind of thinking about this the other day, and I do really love AMC. I'm not trying to like bash AMC at all, but like the whole like popcorn pass that they recently did. I kind of viewed that as maybe a way to temporarily generate a lot of cash flow, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But I've been looking at like the price of AMC. So like, for instance, right now it's at 216. If you look at like 6 months ago, it peaked at like 344. So it's very tempting to go in here and buy a few $1,000s worth of AMC stock and then hope that it goes back up to $3 and sell. But there's some reason for some pause there, but that's a different topic. Let us go back to the Netflix.
Let's go back to Netflix. Yeah, again, I think this is going to be really interesting to watch. I'm excited to see what happens. And again, I'm currently in the camp again. Originally, you and I, and we've talked about this in multiple videos, best case scenario is Warner Brothers doesn't sell, they stay independent. I was rooting for Apple to kind of swoop in at the last minute and make a bid, because they've done a lot of good work with Apple, like F1, Shrinking is a Warner Brothers production. Like, there's a lot of good shit that they've done with Warner Brothers that I was hoping that Apple would come in there. And I think Apple needs a studio. I think they do. Yeah. But again, if it comes down to Netflix or Paramount, I'm sorry, I gotta say I'm on the Netflix side. So, Anyway, let us know what you think down in the comments below. Are you rooting for Netflix? Or are you rooting for Paramount? Let us know. Okay. Thanks everybody who's in there for today. By the way, if you saw something in the news since our last show, last Thursday, please go ahead and drop it in the chat on either YouTube or Twitch. We monitor both chats simultaneously, by the way. I see both, right? So if you have any topics you want us to talk about that you maybe saw in the last week, drop them in the chat and we'll try and get to those at the end of the show. All that being said, we're going to stay in entertainment news-ish. Jay, I have not been following the story. So take it away. Explain to me what the hell is happening.
So yes, if you recall, I believe it was last week. So I was like, oh, there's this like new documentary about, P. Diddy, the Sean Combs, the Reckoning thing. It's crazy. As soon as it came out, Diddy's like lawyer team issued a cease and desist letter. So I immediately watched all 4 episodes because out of, even if they take it down, like, haha, I saw it. And it was like shocking. You kind of learn who Diddy is. And some of the stuff it's captured on film. There's no like he said, she said. You see the film and you're like, yeah, that's a shitty person. But I did not know the last time I talked about it, the depth of the drama that is going on behind the scenes of this whole thing. For instance, I did not know that 50 Cent is the one that created this documentary. Okay. He's the one that put in motion the documentary. But anyways, let's get into it. So Netflix, the docuseries Sean Combs, The Reckoning is a 4-part series that surfaced never before seen footage of Diddy filmed in the days leading up to his September 2024 arrest. How that footage got out, who provided it, and why Diddy is fighting to stop it from spreading remains the center of legal and cultural storm right now. So this is really, these videos are like the videos that no one were ever meant to see. Sean Combs is pacing in his suite. Phone is on speaker. He's talking to his attorney. What we see next is like raw, unguarded, and according to Combs' legal team, never meant for public consumption. These tapes weren't leaked by an assistant or stolen off a cloud server. Combs hired a person who could actually come in here and film before he got arrested, specifically to document his life as pressure was like mounting. In the footage, you can hear Combs like go back and forth saying, "Hey, this is an emergency call because I have something, because something has to give." His lawyer is urging him to stick to a core theme, that he didn't do anything wrong, that he's facing everything with complete honor. Combs isn't convinced. He's saying that he doesn't think it's working. I'm just running around waiting for the shoe to drop. And you kind of see, because once you kind of watch the documentary, because it does go through like the entire lifespan of Diddy, you see that he is like kind of a control freak. He wants to control the narrative. He doesn't want you to see him kind of panicking, out of control, stuff like that. But you see that. You see him probably on some drugs, saying that God told him not to do anything, so he can't do anything, even though he wants to, but then trying to urge his staff to go do things for him because he can't directly do them because God told him not to, so he has to have his assistants do it. So it's a little crazy. And then, the questions come up, like, why did Diddy film himself? Like, why would you hire someone to film you and get footage of you on drugs saying things that would really damage your case or damage your public view? And really, that's a question everyone's been asking after watching the series. Why would someone like under federal investigation hire a camera crew? Even 50 Cent, the executive producer of the docuseries, admitted he doesn't understand it. Quote, he stated that he was documenting himself on his way to jail. Combs' spokesperson later claimed that the footage was part of a private documentary he was creating for Netflix, a project that was never completed due to his legal unraveling. So that is like one of the theories, is that Sean Combs couldn't pay the camera crew he hired to do the filming because he was in jail. And the camera crew was like, we have this footage and we didn't get payment. And the theory is that 50 Cent came in and was like, I'll buy them off of you, bought them, and then hired some other people to make a documentary. So yeah, going into the mystery of how 50 Cent got the tapes. So officially, 50 Cent has been very blunt. You're a journalist. You don't ever reveal your sources. Why would I ever reveal mine? He said that in an interview with him about the situation. And yeah, so there's a lot of back and forth. No one on the team is specifically saying how they got the tapes. There's really just rumors. But it is now a legal fight. On December 1st, just one day after the docuseries premiered, Combs' lawyers sent Netflix a cease and desist letter demanding that the project be pulled. They're claiming that the footage was illegally obtained. It was not shot for an unrelated, unfinished documentary. No rights were ever transferred. Netflix is using stolen property, private material that was never meant to be shown. So I think they are realizing that this is damaging to his image, and they're trying to do like PR damage control year. 50 Cent has gone on the record saying that he does not like, or it's not the fact that he hates Diddy at all. He is just merely calling out, basically, like, if you do some shady shit, he's going to call you out on it. And supposedly, in his words, did not fact check this, but in 50 Cent's words, he has been calling out Diddy since day one that he was doing some shady shit. And this is him kind of proving it. So, Alex, what do you think about this story?
There's so many things here. Let's start kind of at the end first. Let's start with the cease and desist. What fascinates me is that his lawyer sent him a cease and desist, right? Let's break this down. Netflix is a company that just made an $82 billion bid for Warner Brothers. You think they don't have lawyers, right?
Right. Yeah.
Let me tell you something about this. Before Netflix ever bought this documentary, their legal team, right, went over every inch of it, right, to make sure that they were not in the wrong. These people are not, you can dislike them. And look, I don't like corporations. You can dislike them, but they ain't stupid. Okay. So why bot? I mean, the cease and desist is a PR move. No, don't put it out there. And Netflix, F you, right? Like, no, we're doing it. Okay. None of these companies put this stuff out without it being vetted. Okay. I don't know the details. Maybe Fiddy told them where he got the footage, and that's entirely possible that he was like, look, or there may just be a signed affidavit where Fiddy's lawyer sent something to Netflix going, I know how he got it. I'm his lawyer. I have attorney-client privilege. I know how he got it. And it's legit. It's legal. Right? Which gives Netflix deniability and the ability to shift the liability if it turns out to not be true. Right? But again, 50 Cent, who's rich, also has lawyers who don't want to be disbarred, who are not going to lie. Okay? Like, on sworn documents. Like, so let's start there. This part is dumb. I am curious where he got it. Okay. Going back to the Diddy thing, I've said since the jump, like, I used to have a lot of respect for Diddy because of just First off, he was a talented rapper, and then he built kind of a business empire that I was really impressed by. He got into other areas of entertainment. He was financing movies. He was doing this stuff. When the stuff started coming at him, I hate to say it, and I'm kind of curious about your thoughts on this statement. Anytime I find out that a mega celebrity did crazy fucking shit, I am never surprised. Right? To go into that world, to be one of those people, there's an element of narcissism and believing that you are all powerful and great that you have to survive in that world. So when these things come out, I'm not surprised. I'm sad, right? I'm like, man, like when Cosby got outed as the horrible person he was. I was like, God damn it, I loved Bill Cosby. I have so many old Bill Cosby record albums that I bought before he was outed, and I was like, man, one of the greatest stand-ups ever. God damn it, Bill, like I can't listen to it anymore, right? So it frustrates me, but I'm never shocked. So when the shit about Diddy came out, I was like, yeah, I mean yep. That unsurprising. Like, sure. Right? I'm sad now. I'm frustrated. As far as him recording himself on the way to jail and all this shit, I'm not shocked. He's a narcissist. All these people are narcissists. They have to like themselves. They have to love themselves to a level that normal people do not understand. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. So again, on my statement of I'm sad but never shocked. Like, do you see where I'm coming from there?
Yeah, and I take kind of a different approach here, like removing the fact that, you know, they are all about themselves all the time. I always, because I do think we get into a habit of you see a celebrity and you kind of idolize them, like you want them to be the hero. But at the end of the day, like these are normal people with normal day-to-day issues, really.
Normal.
I'm gonna say normal, but
they're normal people
the
with
amount,
messed up mental health stuff that have access to resources that let them exercise those things in horrible ways.
right. And so what I'm gonna say is like, they're dealing like the same shit that we're dealing, but they are filthy rich. So like, for instance, where if like you and I, if we're having a bad day, we might go to the bar, have a few drinks, take an Uber home, or maybe just pick up a 6-pack on the way like home from work, sit at home, have a few beers. That's the end of it. But when you have billions of dollars and you can jump on a jet and go anywhere in the world, or you can hire people to do anything.
Yep.
Like I think that they're seeking the same like relief and the escape that you and I are seeking, but the amount of money they have elevates the game completely.
Yeah.
And that's when they get into a lot of fucking trouble. Supposedly, Diddy would hire a male escort to have sex with, I can't remember, his girlfriend or wife or something, while he watched and while he directed what they did and did not do. I personally don't understand why you would do that, but that's just kind of like an example of like he had so much money, he can just do things that like you and I just like we would never think about doing.
No. Yeah. Again, the whole thing makes me really, really sad. But honestly, the fact that sunlight's the best disinfectant, man. I'm kind of glad that Fiddy's putting it all out there, and don't let Sean Combs ever come back. You know what I mean? Like you don't get to have a redemption tour when this is over. And I think that's kind of the thing. Like you don't get to have the redemption tour. And I think that's what Fiddy's trying to prevent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm going to call out a comment in the comments. So the worst part about being rich, the worst part about rich people mental health is that they can afford help, but they don't get it. And I'm gonna like say, I kind of don't think it's like the money aspect. Like so where I work, you get 14 free 1 hour therapy sessions. And we know that more than like half of the people in the company do not ever take.
Don't bother using it. Yeah.
They don't bother.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they don't want to seek help. It's like a known fact that your whole world could kind of be going downhill. For a lot of people, you're not going to try to seek help until you hit rock bottom and you're given a reason to like look at yourself, to try to grow, to try to seek that help. But like a lot of people will just keep going down until they hit rock bottom.
Oh, for sure.
Diddy is there.
For sure. For sure.
Another thing I want to say, and this is a theory. This is again a theory. 50 Cent did an interview, I want to say on ABC or something. It was the only interview he did supposedly, and he specifically chose that network because that's the only network they show in like the prison that Diddy was housed in. So they were like, dang, like look at 50 Cent being so savage. Like he's like doing these interviews knowing that like Diddy's watching it. Just a theory, but if true,
funny.
That is pretty savage and also kind of funny.
Yeah. All right, folks, have you watched the documentary? What do you think? Do you think it's legit? Or do you think everybody's about to get sued? Let us know what you think down in the comments below. We're going to move on to some fun topics here shortly. We actually had some really fun stuff today too. This one was fun, but we got some happy time. Don't worry. You know what? We're kind of doing this lovely back and forth. Like it's happy. With the show. Again, if you just joined the stream and you've got some topics that you want to cover, something you saw in the news this week that you think we should cover, throw it down into the chat there, and we'll try and get to it at the end of the show. It's great. Again, if you've missed some of our Netflix and stuff, go check out the YouTube channel. We're putting up more YouTube exclusive videos. These have been doing really well. I think Jay and I are going to try and do more of them going forward. Believe it or not, and this is not a knock, we love the stream. We love the interaction with you guys. But there is times where it's nice to be able to like lock in on a topic and just nail it down. And then also, again, we had a situation with the Netflix video we just put up on YouTube over the weekend where we were like, oh, we can edit. You know what I mean? And editing is nice. Thank you, YouTube chat. I got that. I'm going to put that in there because that is fun. I think we're also trying, and again, this is going to be schedule dependent. We want to do like an in-person stream where Jay and I are sitting in the room and like playing some video games or doing something. We've talked a lot about that right around Christmas time. So we're going to definitely try and do that. But again, we're working on it. And much like trying to get a hold of the Baja Blast Pie, sometimes time just gets away from us. For those that don't know, and I'm not going to go into detail, we had a death in the family this week. It's been kind of a crazy week. So we've been all over the place. So, but we did get some fun shit today, didn't we, Jay?
There is so many fun topics out there.
Do you want to nail down this next topic for us? Are you ready? I know you're super excited. I was thrilled when I saw this today. Okay.
I'm excited, and I know Dog Dad is going to be excited.
Oh, Dog Dad's going to be super excited about this. So Jay, take it away.
Okay. So, unless you've been living under a rock or maybe your planet exploded, you saw that earlier today, we got our first trailer for Supergirl. So kind of going through this a little bit. Can
we say it opens with crypto?
Yeah, opens with crypto being crypto in the most crypto way crypto can be crypto. He is knocking over like the drink that's playing the record. It's like the water, something is like shorting out a circuit. He is peeing on the Daily Planet newspaper that shows Superman.
Yep.
I mean, I laughed so hard when I saw that opening scene. So it is really funny. Um, there is something that's kind of interesting. So obviously the song that's playing, we're not going to play it because as soon as we
Oh
do, we
yeah,
get
we
like
will get copyright
against
struck
us.
to death.
Ugh. Why? But it is Blondie's "Call Me." I do really love that song, and I don't know, it's really kind of grabs your attention. We also see this is something that's very interesting that you might not have picked up on. We also see that there's alien writing on the record player, and it could be Kryptonian, and based on the real language that was
Ah.
constructed for previous DC films. However, I wasn't able to see anyone crack this online. There's been some theories that it's like more stylized. So there's like some weird message on the record player right there on like the open case. So kind of interesting. But Alex, what do you think about this opening scene? I
I
loved it.
I love the opening thing. I loved Crypto. I loved that it turned out that Crypto was Supergirl's dog the whole time. By the way, we are past the point, and I will do this again. We're past the point of spoilers. So if you yell at me spoilers, fuck off. Um, I love the fact that we start with Crypto. Okay. Um, and again, yeah, it's setting a tone. Okay. Crypto's a menace, but we knew that. He's gonna pee on Superman. And then I like how when she wakes up, she's like, "You got it mostly on the paper this time. Good job, doggy." Um, she's got these like oversized sunglasses and she's waking up looking hungover. Um, and right here, I want to insert this. I love the casting of Milly Alcock as Supergirl, right? I loved her in House of the Dragon. When they switched to older Rhaenyra, I was actually pissed, right? Because I
Yeah.
thought she fucking stole that show as young Rhaenyra. Her as Supergirl, because she's not big. She's this tiny little thing. Like, I don't even know how tall she is. You see her standing next to James Gunn at the party, right? Now she's 5'5", you know. Um, yeah, I absolutely love this shot. Let's move on to the next shot where she's at the a bus stop.
Yep. So she's at a bus stop. It looks like she is waiting to be picked up by this like Galactus like bus, galactic, not Galactus, galactic bus to take her to a planet where there's evidently a red sun. If you recall, this was mentioned in the Superman movie, how she likes to go to a planet that has a red sun
So she can get
so that
drunk.
she can get drunk.
Yep.
So she gets picked up. Then you see her in a bar drinking.
Saying 23 is going to be her best year, but not a high bar.
Yeah, not a high bar because evidently like life has been sucking lately.
So
Um,
it seems to me like they're going off the kind of the classic Kara storyline, right? Which is that Clark got sent at the same time she was. At the time, she was older than Clark, but she got lost in the Phantom Zone or wherever. And so Clark arrived to Earth first, and by the time her ship got out of the Phantom Zone, she's biologically younger than Clark, but she remembers Krypton, right?
yeah,
Like Clark doesn't have any memories of Krypton, of living on Krypton, of being on Krypton. She does, you know. So the destruction of Krypton has hit her way harder than Clark.
right. And later on in this trailer, she says a line that like really resonates with me. Because they were talking about Superman, and she says, he sees the good in everyone, right? That's Superman. That's
Mm-hmm.
classic Superman. I see the truth. And I was like, oh shit, because she has seen what like the reality of what people can do. She saw the fall of Krypton. She saw her home planet be destroyed. So yeah, it she's more raw than like Clark Kent, who kind of grew up in a cornfield and it's like everyone's good,
Well, somebody in the YouTube chat's mentioned the lore, and I've kind of forwarded this. It looks like we're going to get some Krypton flashbacks.
We do. So they do show that. So they do show what does appear to be a force field covering the city. I think it's Argo City being sealed under its protective dome as Krypton collapses around it in the original comics. Evidently, that city survived Krypton's destruction and started drifting through space. So, we're kind of seeing that in this. So it does look like there's going to be some flashbacks. So I'm not sure if these are like when she's drunk and passed out, she starts remembering, and then, that kind of leads her to drink more. And something that's like really interesting to me about this movie is that we could see some scenarios where she's like, okay, like the red sun's out. I don't have my powers. We're getting into this altercation. We're getting into this fight. I'm very vulnerable. Okay, like red sun's not around. I have the yellow sun. Everyone's going to die, like kind of playing on this. And I think someone actually mentioned, the possibility of seeing Supergirl fight drunk would be kind of interesting. So I don't know.
So I think that's what's happening here, right? So we got this line, and I loved this line in the trailer. Like, she's like, "Oh, this," like all the guys are pointing their guns with the lasers at her. She's like, "Oh, this is not like this is going to end well." And then she amends the statement for you guys, because she's about to just mess these guys up. She's like, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that,"
Right, yeah.
I love that line. That's not Lobo. I don't.
And yeah,
where do we see
a
Lobo?
little after that, keep going a little bit.
Is that Lobo?
So yeah.
Yeah, we only kind of get a view of Lobo.
If you blink, you're going to miss Lobo.
Which is weird to me. It's Jason Momoa. Like, why wouldn't you put that in there more? Now, granted, this is a first trailer. It's the teaser, right?
Yeah.
So, for those that don't know, in movie marketing, teasers are supposed to set a tone. They're not supposed to tell you a lot about the story. And we don't know a lot about the story from this trailer. We know Kara's messed up, but we knew that from Superman. There's a kid she's hanging out with, and she's got problems, right? We don't really know what the story of the movie is from this first trailer, which is not weird for a first trailer. Again, first trailer, tone. Next trailer, story, right? We'll know what the movie's about.
Yeah. So the kid, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this correctly, as Dog Dad knows. Wasn't a huge fan of Superman. So the kid appears to be Ruthie. Don't know if I pronounced that quite right. But it appears to show Ruthie and her quest for justice after her father was murdered by Cream of the Yellow Hills, a villain ripped directly from the comics. The trailer gives us a chilling shot of, or I guess her name is Cream emerging through the flames. Or no, I'm sorry, Cream's the bad guy. Cream emerging through the flames, metal bolts on his face, leaning into the camera. This looks like Ruthie's memory of that moment, and her sword, seen repeatedly throughout the trailer, suggests that she's on a personal mission. So, Alex, do you know this character, Dog Dad? It seems like he's saying this is right out of the comic.
Yeah, and it's been a long time since I read Woman of Tomorrow. Again, I don't know how much they're going to go direct out of that one. I'm sure that that team has taken a lot of inspiration from it. So I'm not super familiar with this character. Yeah. So I think it's good. I like at the end how we start shifting, because in the beginning, we don't have her in the costume. She's not in the Supergirl outfit. She's kind of like trench coat, stuff like that. And at the end of the trailer, kind of those last couple fight scenes, she's finally like, all right, I'm Supergirl. We get a real good shot of her floating, kind of smirking with the S logo. Again, it's put together really well.
Yeah. I
am more excited for this movie now.
I am very excited. Watching this trailer, you know what kind of vibes it gave me though?
What's that?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
And I saw somebody say that in a negative way. because while Gunn did not
Really?
direct this, it's definitely got
Hmm.
his fingerprints on it, right? Gunn is definitely setting a tone for this DCU, right? Um, I am very curious, and you can see his fingerprints on it. Some
Yeah.
people are very kind of meh on the Guardian stuff. I don't know why. I think it's one of the strongest trilogy franchises out of Marvel. Um, but again, I like this, right? I like the dichotomy
Yeah.
between Clark and Kara that we're seeing, right? Clark is the like, I am Superman, and Kara's like, yeah, right?
Yeah.
And I think that that's
Yeah.
good. Um, it's its own story. Um, yeah, I'm pretty hyped for this movie. I'm excited to see it next June.
Oh yeah. That's like the only bad thing is that we have to wait till June. But I'm also extremely excited about this. I thought the Superman movie was great despite having some negative feelings towards Superman in the past. Primarily exactly what you described, the whole classic I'm Superman and no one can do bad has never been like a turn on for me. But the recent movie that came out, I really, really loved. And then you see like Kara, who is kind of like this opposite kind of character where
And I'm
like,
and I'm glad because like while I liked the Supergirl show,
yeah,
right? And I loved the Supergirl show, and I thought Melissa Benoist did a phenomenal job playing a great Kara Zor-El. It fit within the Arrowverse kind of stuff very, very well. Loved her in that role. I did not want to see them just do that again.
yeah,
This
yeah,
Kara Zor-El, if you watched Supergirl, that show, this Kara Zor-El is not like the Melissa Benoist one, and that's not a negative. Again, I think the Milly Alcock casting, not what I would have predicted, right? But honestly, I think it's kind of inspired, casting for Supergirl. And yeah, I'm super hyped for this now. I want to see what
yeah.
she does.
I I will be there day one to see this. I'm
Hopefully we can
super.
get advanced tickets again like we did for Superman. Uh
That's right. We will see this day -3 or
yeah,
something. I don't.
yeah. All right, folks. Did you watch the Supergirl trailer? What did you think of it? Let us know down in those comments below. Um, I would not call the Guardians thing a quadrilogy, even with the Christmas special, which I need to watch because it is now one of my favorite Christmas specials ever. I think that it is a great Christmas special. Um, I'm just saying, Gunn has done a really good job so far. Um, I want to see Howard the Duck, though. Howard the Duck was in Guardians. He was in 2 of the Guardians movies. He was in Guardians 1 in the post credit, and then he was in Guardians 3 in the thing. What costumes are you going to cosplay? I don't cosplay for screenings. It's too much. I get hot in the theater, and I just can't. It's too much, especially when I'm trying to do it for review stuff. Like, it's just too much for me.
Oh my god. I did not think about that. Holy shit. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Dude, Alex, like I could be Supergirl and you could be Crypto.
I could be
I'm
crypto.
kidding.
I'll
I'm
wear
kidding.
I will buy a crypto fucking costume. I don't give a shit. Crypto's a shit, right? Crypto, get the toy. Okay. Okay, I fucking love crypto. All right.
God.
We're gonna go into quick hits segment number 1 now, and we may as well stay on the subject of trailers. Oh my god, freaking trailers. Okay, because the Game Awards were yesterday, and the Game Awards, while they do give out awards, are not really about Game Awards. They're about fucking trailers. That's what you get out of the Game Awards. Well, obviously they rebooted the Mortal Kombat movies, so you knew the next one that was coming, and that's motherfucking Street Fighter. Okay? Motherfucking Street Fighter. So we got a Street Fighter trailer. And wow, does this look video game accurate-ish, right? Look at Dawson there.
Oh,
Oh my god. This thing is the Guile. Like the Guile is the one that I'm like, I don't know if I love this or hate it. Rai looks great. Akuma looks great. Chun-Li looks great. Ken looks ridiculous. Here's what I'm going to say about this. This is, again, it's a sneak peek. It's an early teaser trailer for a movie that is coming out next year. I'm telling you right now, this thing looks cheesy as shit. Okay. Now is that John Boyega as Balrog?
It looks like it.
Okay. It's the movie Street Fighter. They're rebooting it. This is either going to be amazing or it's going to be absolute trash. There is no middle ground. There is none for this fucking trailer. Okay? Just no middle ground for this fucking trailer. What do you think, Jay?
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. It could go either way. This is either going to be amazing, or this is going to be really, really cheesy. It's going to be very bad. I will say,
but cheesy can be good if it's done right.
But it can't be Dragon Ball Evolution cheesy.
No.
God, no. Please.
There's a way
Someone stop that.
There's a way to do cheesy tongue-in-cheek correctly, and if it's done right with this movie, it could be great.
Could be.
But I'm nervous.
I'm a little nervous. It looks good.
They're gonna hit the car. They're gonna hit the car. Oh, I love it. Kung Fu Hustle cheesy according to YouTube trailers. Yeah. So that came out. Here's the other one. And I am torn on this.
Do you say you're corn on this?
Torn. So we have a new Star Wars game coming, in theory, right? So they released the teaser trailer for a new Star Wars game, from Argonaut Studios in collaboration with Lucasfilm Games called Fate of the Old Republic. For anybody that was a big KOTOR fan or SWOTOR fan, I'm telling you what, they have done some really great video games in the Old Republic era for Star Wars. Yeah. Outlaws, I need to go back and replay it. I heard after they patched some stuff out, because when I first played it, I was like, oh, this is rough. This is painful, right? Again, this is a cinematic teaser trailer. I don't see there's no gameplay here. From what I'm reading, it's supposed to be a story-driven RPG a la Mass Effect-y, right? The guy who's running it is a guy who did Mass Effect for BioWare.
Okay.
It's not a direct sequel or continuation of KOTOR. So if you're like, it's going to be a KOTOR sequel, it's not a sequel. They're not being very clear about it right now. Okay. So one, it looks cool, and I love the Old Republic stuff.
Yes.
But here's what I want to point out. I got excited about this trailer like 7 years ago. Okay?
Oh.
You know,
the level, what was that game? Like the level.
It was Star Wars Eclipse, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it was announced. When was it announced? It was announced in like 2017. I'm trying to remember when it was announced. 2021. It's been 4 years since they announced that movie, right? And I love Quantic Dream. I do. I love them as a game studio. I was like, wow, this could be really interesting, right? But again, where the hell is it? Right? 4 years? Like, stop
Yeah.
announcing these fucking games this far out. It drives me nuts, right? It drove me nuts with CD Projekt Red. They can get away with it a little bit because they're CD Projekt Red. So when they announced Cyberpunk 2077, they were like, when they announced it, they were like, release when we feel like, basically. They were like, when it's ready. This trailer right here for Star Wars Eclipse, I was like, holy crap, this looks freaking amazing. And I love Quantic Dream. Still don't know where this game is. So, Fate of the Old Republic, I'm hoping it releases.
Yeah. There's another one, I think 13 years ago, level 1313.
Oh, that was officially canceled. Yeah, that
right.
one.
So it's like, do we get our hopes up, or, are they just going to keep edging up?
Again, it's kind of like Star Wars movies, all right? I'm living in the same world. Now that I've seen a trailer for Mandalorian and Grogu, I believe it is releasing. Okay? I do believe we are going to get our first cinematic Star Wars movie in 7 fucking years. Fuck you, Lucasfilm. Okay? We're going to get that next year. Star Wars Starfighter, I think, is wrapped filming. Okay? When I see a trailer, I'll believe it's coming out. That's kind of where I put both of these is don't show me a trailer. Let me know what's coming out. Then I'll believe you. I really will. Okay? Okay. Actually, I'm just going to keep this one recording because fuck it. So yeah, Star Wars. And so we got some good trailers out of the Game Awards because that's all they're really fucking good for. Nobody gives a shit about the awards. We just want the damn announcement trailers. Okay. You've got some more quick hits.
Oh, gosh, do I ever. So a name that I have not heard of in a very long time. Cue the Obi-Wan clip there. Gwen Stefani. Haven't heard anything about her in forever. She's under fire for promoting a paid partnership with Hollow. Okay. Oh yeah, that is an A. Whoops. A Catholic prayer app that includes anti-abortion content and has financial ties to its conservative figures like J.D. Vance. Activist Matt Bernstein criticized Gwen Stefani for supporting what he called a, quote, right-winged anti-abortion pay-to-pray platform, pointing to prayers on the app that bless women pregnant from rape or incest who are considering abortion. Gwen Stefani has not responded to this publicly, but she is under fire for this. And I thought this was like kind of crazy just because I've not heard her name. I mean, Alex, when was the last time you heard anything about Gwen Stefani?
When she married Blake Shelton. That was literally it. She married country dude Blake Shelton that she met on The Voice, right? Because I actually liked that show. That was a fun show, The Voice. I watched it for the first couple seasons. She married Blake Shelton. That was the last I heard her name. Obviously, she's rich enough to where, and with residuals and album plays and stuff, she never has to work again. This seems to be, we talked about this early in the show with celebrities doing crazy shit like hiring escorts to screw their wives. This is the other way that celebrities go. They either go wackadoodle, like crazy sex stuff, or they go wackadoodle uber right wing, right? And that appears to be the way that she went. I know. Yeah. No way the Harajuku girl lady did a problematic thing. Yeah, like you, I was like, oh, Gwen Stefani. Oh, yeah. She hasn't done anything in a while.
Yeah. Not good.
No. What do you got next?
All right. DOJ defends cisgender over slur suspension. So the U.S. Department of Justice is backing a lawsuit filed by 2 Christian students in Virginia who claimed their religious rights were violated when they were suspended for allegedly, keyword allegedly, harassing a transgender boy at school. The DOJ argues that the school district's trans-inclusive policies requiring students to use the boy's pronouns and share facilities conflict with the students' religious beliefs and violate the 14th Amendment. The school district says that the suspensions were justified, asserting the students engaged in ongoing harassment including repeatedly yelling "girl, boy," and the trans student filed a Title IX complaint supported by audio recordings. The students' families disputed this, saying that students were only expressed discomfort. So obviously, this case comes amid broader conservative attacks on trans-inclusive policies. A federal judge will hear the arguments on December 19th regarding the DOJ's attempt to intervene.
Ironically enough, I think DOJ is going to lose this one. It's going to go to SCOTUS. I think they're going to lose this one. Again, weirdly enough, and I don't know what it is, Gorsuch has a thing about trans rights, right? Justice Gorsuch, for whatever reason, he's pissed off a lot of people in the conservative movement. And he was the first nominee that Trump put up during his first term. He's ruled in favor of trans rights more than once, most notably in Bostock. Again, and when Bostock first happened, everybody kind of went, what? Right? Because Gorsuch is an interesting guy, and we may come back to that in a little bit. Yeah, I actually think they're going to lose this one. Again, if they have audio recordings, these guys are screwed. And again, I don't think the court's going to support them on this one. And also, by the time this gets up there, this is going to take 2 years to kind of fix up. So we're probably in a new administration by then, and hopefully some of these conservative fuckers have finally resigned or died. Go to our next one.
So Peru made kind of being trans a mental illness, at least for a little bit. So Peru's Minister of Health clarified that transgender identities are not mental health, walking back a controversial presidential decree that had classified them as diagnosable conditions within the National Health Insurance Plan. The decree used outdated, stigmatizing language and sparked protests from the LGBTQ plus organization, activists, and internal critics. Globally, transgender identities are no longer categorized as mental disorders. Peru, however, still lags behind on LGBTQ plus rights, lacking legal gender recognition, marriage equality, and anti-discrimination protection. Although the decree technically remains in effect, which does kind of classify them as having a mental illness, the ministry's statement is that they will not be applied, is seen as a positive, though incomplete step towards respecting trans people's identity or dignity. So, yeah, I don't know. There was a lot going on this week, from video game news to anti-trans stuff. So there you have it.
As somebody in our chat just said, trans rights are human rights. By the way, if you don't like that, you can get the fuck out of our channel. It just is what it is. Yeah. This is kind of a wider project that I'm not sure where it's coming from. Because it's not just the U.S., it's Peru, it's a few other places that are making this a bigger deal. And we talked about this when we were talking about the Leah Thomas thing and the Riley Gaines thing. Like, this should not be this much of an issue. We don't know why you guys are doing this. And I think it's part of a broader project. And I haven't been able to isolate where it's coming from. And I think it's weird. So, anyway, those are our quick hits for today. Real quick, just to be clear what the Bostock decision was. And again, this was one that happened in 2020. It kind of got lost in the COVID nonsense, right? In that, remember we were all in COVID land in 2020? And so there were so many things going on that we lost a lot of shit, right? So Bostock versus Clayton County, everybody really thought was going to come down as anti-trans, right? Because it was specifically about employment discrimination based on gender identity, right? And then the decision released, right? And not only did Gorsuch vote for it, Justice Gorsuch, who was, again, Trump's first nominee to this court, wrote the opinion, right? He was the author of the majority opinion, which went 6-3. So it was, at that time, all four liberals, Roberts and Gorsuch, right? And everybody went, Gorsuch? What? And he wrote the opinion. And he said, yes, if you are firing somebody because of their gender identity, right, and them changing their gender identity, it is discrimination under Title VII. And the conservative movement was livid, because Gorsuch wasn't supposed to vote that way. He was vetted by the Federalist Society, and he was an extremely conservative justice, except in two areas. And again, Gorsuch very rarely speaks publicly. One of them is something he's known for. The trans stuff is something that everybody's kind of going, huh? And I'm going to come back to that in a second, the LGBTQ stuff. Gorsuch has another pet project that nobody really knows. So we've got a lot of stuff with Native American rights and how they interact with the U.S. government.
Yeah.
Anytime a Native American rights case comes before the court, Gorsuch votes on the side of the Native Americans. And no one knows why. He won't explain why. He doesn't say it. But basically, and I'm a little oversimplifying some complex stuff, if it's Native American tribes and their organizations against the U.S. government, Gorsuch is on the side of the natives, and no one knows why. It's a pet, weird legal thing of his, where he's just like, nope, the natives are right. They're always right. He doesn't vote against him. And again, because he won't speak publicly, no one really knows why. It's just a thing. Bostock was the other one that he was like, nope, sorry. Ruling in favor of the trans people, and everybody went, what? I don't know. I don't know where that comes out on Gorsuch. I don't know if you noticed this. We didn't cover it on the show at the time. You remember they were challenging Obergefell?
Oh yeah.
That's gone. Right? And I'll be honest, I was surprised, because to give you guys the example, to appear before the court, the Supreme Court, you have to get what's called a writ of cert, right? To get a writ of cert, 4 justices, not the majority, 4 justices have to say, we're willing to listen, right? We're willing to listen. So I figured when Obergefell came back, you had Kavanaugh, you had Alito, you've got Thomas. You're going to get one of the other ones, either Gorsuch or Amy Coney Barrett, to be the 4th, to at least hear the case, right? To overturn Obergefell. And then they didn't. Now, here's the thing. In cert votes, they don't release who voted how, right? So for whatever reason, the court came back and was like, no, we're not revisiting the gay marriage issue. We're just not doing it, right? And I was honestly, when they denied cert to that case, I was surprised that the court was like, Now, I have a theory as to why, but I was surprised. Were you surprised when they were like, no, we're not doing this?
I wasn't, only because I think, I don't know, in my mind, I was like, I just don't think we're at that level of Nazi Germany yet. To try to do it this early, you are going to, that's going to be the final straw for a lot of people, and you're going to see an uprising. But what is your theory?
I think it was Roberts.
Okay.
I think Roberts leaned on Barrett to be like, don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Roberts is always concerned. Roberts is a history guy, and Roberts as chief is very much concerned with the appearance of the court and how he's going to be remembered in the history books as Chief Justice, right? I don't think he wants to be that guy, right?
Right. He's
very concerned with the independence of the court. He's very concerned with how the court appears. He's very concerned, again, with, in 60 years, when we're talking about Civil Rights Part 2, Electric Boogaloo, right, with the LGBTQ community, I think he's concerned about how he's going to be viewed 50, 60 years from now.
And he should be.
And again, I think that he goes, because Roberts, when they did Obergefell, Kennedy was the swing vote that upheld Obergefell and legalized gay marriage. When Roberts wrote a separate dissent where he basically chided Congress, right? Roberts didn't vote against gay marriage because he wanted to vote against gay marriage. And he said it in, that's why he wrote a separate dissent. He said, this case should never have landed on our desk. And I'm mad that it even got here. Congress should have dealt with this, right? The fact that it's sitting in our docket is wrong. You guys should have dealt with this. Gay people have the right to get married. I'm voting against this because this should never have been before the court, right? This is congressional. You guys aren't doing your jobs, right? And that's where he was on that particular topic. So yeah, I'm curious. So I think that's why they didn't grant cert on that one. Okay. Couple of quick stuff that's come into the chat. Again, chat, if you're here, I see some new folks in the chat. Thank you for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you chatting. If you saw something in the news or you've got a topic you want us to cover, please let us know. Throw it in the chat. We'll try and get to that. We've probably got about 10, 15 minutes left in the show, so we've got some time for some more quick topics. So if there's something you want to talk about, throw it in the chat right now, and we'll try and get to that. To answer some chat questions, did they ever release a trailer for the canceled Batgirl movie? No, they did not. It was one of the first things that happened after David Zaslav took over Warner Brothers. They had filmed the Batgirl movie. It was complete. It was in the old DCEU, right? They looked at the movie, and David Zaslav said, "Yeah, we're not releasing that. This thing is awful. It's so bad it will hurt our brand that badly." Brendan Fraser was the bad guy in that one. Apparently, according to every report of everybody who watched it in the screens for Warner Brothers, it looked like a bad CW show. And so Zaslav was like, we're not releasing this to a wide audience. We're done. So it went on a shelf. It's somewhere in the Warner archives. It will never see the light of day.
Unless Paramount buys Warner Brothers and says, fuck it, and releases it.
Oh, that's a good question from YouTube. I'm going to put that in there. That's an interesting question. I may not be able to answer it tonight, but I may come back and do that as a full topic later.
Good question.
Yeah, we'll get there. Jay, here's another one. Your favorite winter holiday, right? Wintertime holiday, tradition or memory?
Winter holiday, tradition or memory.
So that could be Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, anything in the winter months. Like, do you have a favorite tradition or holiday or memory that you have from the holiday season?
Yeah, I think, I think like holidays like Christmas in the winter, because I do consider like Halloween to be in the fall.
That is a fall holiday, yeah.
Nice. I guess like memory. So this is really weird. When I was a kid, we tried to drive from Florida up to Michigan one year for Christmas, and we had a Ford Ranger, and our Ford Ranger broke down, and we never made it. And then we had to rent a U-Haul and tow the truck all the way back down to Florida. But I remember it was Christmas, and I was in this like hotel. And I just remember just sitting there and watching the classic Battlestar Galactica, like episode after episode after episode. And I don't know, it was just kind of chill, because like you were just sitting there watching nerdy stuff.
I think there's a wonderfulness in simplicity, because if I'm gathering this right, you guys got like stuck in weather, right?
Yeah.
So it's snowing outside, right?
Yep.
And you're in this room with your family. Who was with you? It was like your dad?
Yeah, just my dad.
Yep.
My dad and I. Yep.
So there you go. You're there with your dad. there's a simplicity to it of we're gonna sit here in weather and the snow's falling outside and we're just gonna watch Battlestar Galactica, and I think there's greatness in that simplicity because in that moment there's no other worry in the world, nothing else exists.
Yeah,
I think that's a wonderful memory, Jay.
I like it.
That's a
What
good
about
one.
you?
So go back in time to the 1980s and early 1990s. So my younger brother and I, who are a couple years apart, at Christmas time, we would get our new G.I. Joe / Ninja Turtles, right? And we had these crocheted blankets that were like green and brown from my grandmother, but when you bushed them up on the floor, they kind of looked like mountains because they were green and brown.
Okay.
And we would have these massive, we'd get all our old toys and all our new toys, and we would have these massive, like 2 or 3 day long wars that started Christmas morning after we got all our new G.I. Joes and Ninja Turtles. But
Nice.
much like yours, and this went on for years from the time we were probably, I don't know, 7 until we were probably 12 or 13. And again, it's simplicity. Just sitting with my little brother with G.I. Joes and Ninja Turtles and be like, hi-ya, pew, pew, pew. Ah. When you're not thinking about money, budgets, life, or anything, and you're just playing Ninja Turtles with your brother and sitting in a room. And to me, that is that kind of simplicity. That's why, again, your memory kind of resonates because it's that, like, in that moment, nothing exists outside of that place.
Yeah.
And I think that that's good. So there you go. YouTube chat saying blizzard in South Carolina in '89. So they lived in South Carolina, and obviously snow in South Carolina is rare. You know, pure magic. Christmas Eve, 1989. That's a good one too. I think now some of my favorite memories recently is honestly when my daughter comes downstairs and sees the thing that she's not sure if she's getting, right? Like when it's there, because I always put in surprises and I build shit on Christmas Eve after she goes to bed while I'm drinking whiskey. Her face when she sees some of that stuff that she doesn't realize. I went through a long time where I was not a fan of Christmas in my like young adult years, you know, where it didn't mean a lot. I will say having my daughter, Christmas is much more enjoyable now.
Nice.
I am going to save this one. So somebody in the chat put, what do you think is the dumbest movie we could see greenlit? Who will claim the mantle from Mobius, which should not have been greenlit. That is true. Really, though, you need to replace that with Madam Web, which was objectively worse than Mobius. Morbius. It's Morbin time. No, Madam Web was even worse. I want to save that one because I think we could do a whole topic on that. Jay, 9:25. Do you want to do this one, or do you want to save it till next week?
Which one?
The last one in the rundown.
You know what? I mean, let's go for it.
All right, go for it. Jay, take us away.
Yet again, more trailers. So the new Avatar: The Last Airbender season 2 trailer dropped. The main backlash about this, it's not about the visuals, it's not about the story, it's about the actors aging. Because 6 years have passed between season 1 and season 2. Some viewers are saying the characters are too old compared to the animated counterparts. And we see this all the time. Critics are arguing some more look like they're in their 20s instead of what they're supposed to be, like 12 in the animation. But others point out that aging is unavoidable in the live action productions, and the cast still fits their roles. And honestly, the fact here, because there's a lot of discussion about this, like back and forth, if this is the biggest complaint about season 2, the Avatar: The Last Airbender, is just the fact that the people look too old, I think this points to a solid season 2. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Alex.
So I'm actually going to come down on the too old thingy. I'm watching
What?
I'm watching Stranger Things, and I'm sorry, those are not high school kids anymore. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. And this is something we talked about this. Go find it on our YouTube channel. We talked about this a long time ago. And by that I mean like 5 months, which in social media world is an eternity. How happy we were that The Pit was filming like old TV. Hey, we finished season 1. Time to start filming season 2, right?
Yeah.
The fact that it's these streamers wait 4, 5, 6 years, right, to do these second seasons is a problem, right? And it's because of their algorithms and how they decide what gets greenlit. Um, you know, I think somebody's bringing up the new Harry Potter stuff. I think they're going to run into this problem. Now, Warner Brothers has basically already greenlit all 7 seasons, so I think they're going to film those back to back. But can you imagine if you were trying to do 7 seasons of the new Harry Potter show with the normal delay that a streamer has, like 2 years per? By the time these kids got done, they'd be 30.
Yeah.
You know, it's and somebody else is in the chat's pointing this out too. Sometimes the length between the streaming seasons is so long that you lose interest. You're like, oh yeah, that
That's
show. So I'm kind of coming down on the side of what the fuck.
Yeah.
Like this is a legit complaint.
Dang.
Didn't think I was gonna go there, did you?
I did not think you were going to go there. I have not started watching like this final season of Stranger Things, so I can't comment on that yet. But I mean, I guess like it makes sense, right? Like it kind of removes you from the fantasy that you're supposed to be in, like if they're no longer like high schoolers or whatever. But like, I don't know. Very interesting.
I'm sorry, Noah Schnapp doesn't look young enough to be Noah Schnapp anymore in Stranger Things season 5. He just looks, yeah, it does this. Ooh, I want to look at this real quick. He might have actually spoiled the ending for season 5. Before Millie Bobby Brown told him to shut up. She has a kid now. I'm sorry. 11 is married. Noah Schnapp is Will. No, the second half of Stranger Things season 5 releases Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. And then the final episode's out December 31st in theaters. I have tickets to take my daughter to see the final episode at the AMC in Linwood.
Nice.
We're going. And then I have to work that night. So that's my New Year's. Okay. We're, I think, officially out of topics, Jay.
We are out of topics.
We're out of topics for tonight. We got some good stuff for next week. Jay, unlike last Christmas, Jay's not leaving the country or the area. Last year you did. And I was struck streaming alone and with guest stars for like 3 weeks.
Dang.
Remember? Because you left on like a red, like, and it fell down exactly right. Like, because you like left on like a Friday, but you couldn't do it the Thursday because you were leaving the next morning, and then you were gone for, where did you go last year? I don't even remember.
Cancun, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you were gone for just enough time where you were gone for like 3 episodes in a row. It was very sad.
So I do have some bad news.
Uh-oh.
I am leaving for Canada tomorrow.
Till Monday?
Till like Tuesday.
Okay,
so.
yeah, you'll be back for next week's show. You're fine. You told me you're good for this holiday season for this week's show. Again, we are trying to do an in-person one. We're going to play some video games. I got to redo my studio here to do that, but we do want to do it before the end of the year.
Yeah.
So look for that one. That will probably be like an extra long stream because we'll be playing video games and just hanging out. So yeah. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Eric Code Show, folks. Again, remember, we're going to be releasing more YouTube exclusive content. Jay and I are actually really enjoying doing that. And also, again, weird shit breaks on Friday. This is what happened to us last week. We were like, damn you, Netflix! Releasing the news the day after our show. Like, we have to cover it because we've been covering this thing the whole time. So,
Yeah.
like, share, favorite, subscribe. Aside from that, Jay, say goodbye to the lovely people.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.